I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're exploring a fantastic book. It's called SOCOBY, State or Condition of Being Young. And it's written by an amazing author by the name of James O'Clock. This five-star rated cautionary tale dives into the timeless battle of good versus evil, guiding readers to make profound life decisions. Join us right now as we uncover the symbolic journey and the ultimate choices that define our lives. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Books to Life Marketing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this wonderful book. The links are below this interview. James, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. I really appreciate the privilege of being on your program.
Well, it's a privilege to have you on the show. This is a delightful book, beautiful words, beautiful illustrations. They meld together perfectly to enhance the story. And why did you decide to write a book about the state or condition of being young?
Well, for me, it's actually started, Logan, 50 years ago.
Mhm.
What happened was during that time, I began writing poetry, more just during those times in the 70s, getting my thoughts down on paper. And my brother, who was an art major in high school, had an art project. So what we did is we took the poem and we put it on a 25-foot canvas mural. And um, it was just sort of a begin my first poem, just trying to those thoughts that you have when you're a young man, and then putting it on this canvas, and it just sort of kind of exploded that hey, this could turn into something down the road. Now that was 50 years ago, so time marches on, and that's where I sort of began the idea of I wanted to write a poem about youth,
Mhm.
and that the definition of youth from the dictionary is state or condition of being young. And
Interesting.
so I just happened to look at the beginning letters of each of of that phrase, and that came out SOCOBY. And
Awesome.
what I wanted to do was more than just life's journey, the day to day and who we meet, but also beyond the
Mhm.
issue of eternity, all these sort of things, though, these concepts as a young man you're trying to grapple with, and to be able to express it in a way that would draw people in, and not only draw them in, but you would replace, instead of SOCOBY, who's the main character, you would replace it with yourself, because we all walk. SOCOBY represents all of us, and we
Mhm.
all walk this life. And where do we go? What paths do we take? And trying to define what is the ultimate choice that we all have to face when it comes to this life as well as the life beyond.
Very, very cool. So that poem you wrote 50 years ago began your journey in writing. It's not the actual poem that's in this book, correct?
Right. It was the beginning. I mean, if you looked at my original SOCOBY poem, it's much different today
Right.
because my worldviews have changed, my thoughts have changed. And what I did is I had a body of work, a number of poems from my time in college and for my early professional career within the government. I continued to write poetry. And so I had all these poems that were kind of stuck away. And so I kind of built on those. And so SOCOBY was a poem, maybe 2 pages long, but now it has grown, with the illustration and writing of the book. And the illustrator happens to be my son, Peter.
Wonderful. He did a masterful job on these images. He's a professional artist, correct?
His dream is to be another Walt Disney. He's got a great vision. And he is looking, right now he's in California, looking to get into the animation field, putting his portfolio together. So he's a young man out there, looking to make a place for his not only his drawings, but he's also a storyteller like his dad.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, the two are often needed, as in this book, the storytelling in the form of words and the storytelling in the form of imagery. And it worked out perfectly. Tell the folks at home, uh, give them an overview, if you would, of SOCOBY.
Again, at your beginning of the program, you did a nice overview of it. Uh, but one of the main concepts of SOCOBY is that it's not only a cautionary tale of good versus evil. it's a story that you can, like I say, you can put yourself into it more than just kind of reading a story. It's a story that let's put yourself into that, and you be SOCOBY walking through that, because in life we're going to meet people that seem to want to help us but really aren't, and those what seem are hurting us are really trying to help us.
Right.
And there's just all these influences in our lives. And again, we just did it in a very small microcosm. I mean, there could have been a novel in rhyme of this story, but just trying to get some basic concepts that people can relate to and contemplate some of these things that sometimes we kind of put off to the side and, oh, I'll get to it later. But really look at our lives and say, what path do I want to go down? What is that ultimate choice? Is it a life of certain restrictions and boundaries and accountability to not only ourselves, but to others, as well as accountability to even something greater than us? Or is it a path that we look at that, hey, we're just happens chance, this whole thing is just, all happened by chance. So we're just going to walk down this path where there's complete independence, very little restrictions, very little boundaries, and more of a self-rule attitude. We've got to really look at our lives and start thinking about, okay, do I want to go down this path or that path? And really step back and contemplate, is there more to me than just ourselves that we see? Is there something greater than us that we need to contemplate and then search out and find?
Exactly. These are the important questions that everybody should be asking themselves if they're going to live a well-examined life, which of course is the only life worth living, the self-examined life, right?
Amen.
Amen, for sure. Tell us who your target audience is.
It's I would say teens to adults, but we have sort of a focus to teens to young adults. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a book for everyone, and it's a book for a grandmother to read to her grandchild. But for the younger kids, that's what they would need. They would need a parent to kind of walk them through it. I don't think they would be able to grasp some
Yeah.
of the ideas in that. But it's a book that's really trying to challenge. I mean, right now, as you're aware, the teens, preteens, young adults, they're a generation that's being bombarded by so much information that can influence their lives. Sometimes they need a refreshing look at life. Sometimes it can be very negative. And there is challenges in our life. So what we're trying to do is to provide a means of trying to understand their lives better, virtues, qualities that they need to strive to, and to try to be better discerning people on those influences that are coming at them, because there's so much information coming at people. They need the wisdom to take that knowledge and use it properly. So I mean, that's kind of a big microcosm of a statement, but SOCOBY, I think, helps start in a simplistic way to help people to kind of review their lives and to see
Sure.
if they're going on that right path, so that when they make that ultimate choice, they won't be discouraged, at the end of their lives.
But when you say the ultimate choice at the end of the life, what choice is that? What are you talking about?
Well, again, there's, like I said, there's kind of two basic, we want to call them philosophies in
Hmm.
life. There's the philosophy that we exist because of chance.
Right.
That's it. I mean, life after this life, is it going to be real? Is it we just going to go away? Is there going to be anything to it?
Hmm.
Or are we in a world that's been created, a designer, a creator, and
Hmm.
that will be accountable to that creator? And so it's important for us to look at those two. And you could look at other things in between that, but those are the two basic belief
Yeah.
worldviews that we look at. And what SOCOBY tries to do is get you to that point. In the book, SOCOBY, you don't know what he decides.
Hmm.
It's up to the reader. Where would I? It's kind of the reader now is at that point. What path do I go?
Right.
The straight and narrow, or the wide and open path? And
Yep.
it's a very common, somewhat simplistic story, but sometimes the simple things in life we really don't see.
Exactly, exactly. It's a beautiful story. It's adaptable for all ages. All you need is a parent to read it to a child. It can be broken down into concepts and words that they can understand. And I think it's a great book for adults to read too, to be, reflecting on their own lives and their own choices, their own decisions. And I've always liked the analogy of a man walking down the beach and finding a watch. When he finds the watch, he realizes that this watch had to have been created by something because it's so orderly, it's so perfect. And I think when we look at our world, you look at the order of the of people, of trees, of air, of oxygen, of light, of life and death, and you've realized that there must be a creator as well. So
Amen.
that's been my choice to believe, and it all comes down to a matter of faith, I guess, in the end, right?
But and it comes down to a matter of choice.
Yeah,
It's not forced upon you. It's hopefully that you receive it because you see the truth, you see the wisdom in it, and then you move down that path to accept it and to be a very positive aspect within your own life and the lives surrounding you. So yes, it's trying to, that's kind of the heart of SOCOBY, of that fork in the road.
yeah.
What will I choose?
Exactly. What path will I take? Now that you're on the writing path, you writing anything else? You working on anything new?
Yes, in fact, I think even maybe today, after this interview, I'll go outside to my mailbox and I will get a proof copy of my latest, or should I say our latest. It's the same team, my editor wife, me being the author, and then our illustrator son, have done a second illustrated poem. The second one I wrote
Hmm.
almost 50 years ago,
Wow.
and it's called Little Bird with One Wing.
Very cool.
And again, it is a like SOCOBY as a concept character, Little Bird represents many. And
Yeah.
it's basically, I think it'll be a book that people will relate to, but there is a very strong underlining message on a particular social issue that will hopefully people will recognize and see it from a different light. So hopefully today the proof will be in, and we'll look at it, and then we'll get it out, and then we'll start getting the books, set up online with the different bookstores and special editions for us to be able to distribute at festivals. And then I actually have another third project called Main Street Blues, which is kind of in a rough stage right now.
Well, that sounds great. Can you give us a 30-second synopsis of Main Street Blues?
Main Street Blues. I was born in Iowa, raised in South Dakota,
Hmm.
and my so I'm a Midwestern boy.
Hmm.
And during that time, I lived in a town in South Dakota, and my dad was in the FBI.
Hmm.
And there was, just a lot of stuff, issues going on. But there was the issue of the Native American,
Hmm.
and some of the issues that they were going through that I was viewing as a young guy in high school. And there was these images and thoughts that were keep going through my mind. And Main Street is the main street in our town where we would see, a lot of Caucasian, and we had an air base close by, so saw a lot of African American as well as Native American, and the issue of alcoholism
Right.
and the issues of the stereotype of the Native American and alcoholism, as well as the struggles with the Native American teenagers. Because within the Native American community, I might be wrong on this statistic, but I think I'm correct that they have per capita the highest rate of suicide within the youth of the Native American. If it's not the
Absolutely.
highest, it's very high.
Yeah. Lots of
And
issues,
so,
lots of troubles there, lots
yeah,
of things.
and sort of that to me was troubling me. So I always had those thoughts of that, and so I built a story, a poem around Main Street Blues being the main street where the bars are and where a lot of activities going on with the particular characters that come in, and they're dealing with these issues of broken family, alcoholism, and drugs, and then they have a supernatural encounter.
Wow. Sounds terrific. Sound like a book we will be waiting to read and enjoy. The book we've been talking about today primarily is called SOCOBY, I almost got it. I got it right that time. SOCOBY. I was saying SOCOBY, SOCOBY. You say SOCOBY, I say SOCOBY.
Yeah, potatoes,
SOCOBY.
potatoes.
Exactly. It is called SOCOBY, State or Condition of Being Young. It's written by James O'Clock. It is a 5-star rated cautionary tale that delves into the timeless battle of good versus evil, guiding readers to make profound life decisions. Today, we have uncovered the symbolic journey and ultimate choices that define our lives. It's a terrific book. It's a great read. It's enjoyable for people of all ages, whether they are young or old. It'll have you do some very, very good thinking about your life. James, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. It's been a great time.
I've had a great time talking to you as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.